Hola, mis estudiantes. Este es Mr. Señor. I'm going to go over the project outline really quick for you. So please watch this video all the way through. If you're virtual, if you're virtual right now, even if you're a hybrid student, I'll be explaining this over again. Um, so what we're going to do is we're going to write a letter about ourselves in Spanish and English to a group of students in Viña del Mar, Chile. When I studied abroad, I volunteered at a couple of high schools, and I have a pretty good relationship with one of the English teachers that I worked with in Chile from a semi-private Catholic school. So we'll be writing a letter to them. Completing this project is mandatory. However, you don't have to send the letter abroad. We don't publish any materials outside of our schools. Like we can't put, we have a agreement not to put anything on social media or share it outside of our school. So it's just for between our two schools. Your task is going to be to begin writing a well-written letter to Chilean students in Spanish and English, and the requirements are as follows. For now, this is part one of this project. Your letter will be written in both English and Spanish. The English section of your letter should be void of grammatical errors. Remember, they're trying to learn English, so we need to try to make as few grammars in English as we possibly can because they don't speak English natively. So there's a risk that if we write something incorrectly, they could learn it incorrectly. So that's why that part is very important. Both the Spanish and the English version of the letter must include three images or pictures. You can find them on Google. I don't mind if you use Google. You can also send pictures of yourself if you'd like, but if you're going to do that, I do have a permission slip. I also permit that you share your social media information with them, but that is also a part of the permission slip. So I'm going to make your parents aware that we're sending these projects to another country, and if you're putting contact information in there, there's always, you run the risk that one of them is going to contact you, and just know that you maybe if you send your social media information, one of them may send you a message on Snapchat, might and you may have to speak Spanish to them, which is kind of neat. And I've had it happen, and we've had some really great conversations between students and the between our students and theirs. For Spanish, let's see, part one of your Spanish version must be letter must contain a minimum of 50 words for Spanish 2 and 75 for Spanish 3. I have an inkling that many of you are going to go over this, but this is just like the bare minimum that we want. Um, Extra credit, you can take. I've had students do this. This is kind of neat, where students will take pictures of themselves, print them off, and then on the back side of the picture, just write a blurb in English or a short paragraph in English about what the picture was about, what you guys were doing in the picture, etc. It could be a picture of your family, your friends, maybe you doing something that you really love. Um, the more personal it is, the better. Extra credit option B, if you want to find a small piece of realia, which is something such as a newspaper or like an NRW pencil, or I've had students send NRW agendas, which is a little odd, but I've had them do it. You can be creative. Just please check with me to make sure your gift is appropriate and will also fit in the box, because you couldn't try to send like a bike tire if you wanted, because it would just be too big. Um, Sunny thought that was funny. So please be aware that this project is how I'm assessing your knowledge of the topics we've learned so far this year, except for the past tense. So we're not doing anything with the past tense right now. We're actually I'll review the present tense in class, and if you need a review for that, just let me know if you're virtual, and I'll review that with you. Um, it's counting as your midterm grade, which is weighted 30% of your overall grade. So it's extremely important that you adhere to the timeline in the playlist. There's like certain checkpoints that you need to be meeting, and once you've met the checkpoint, you give yourself credit for it, and that's how we track it. So here's the rubric that I'm using for grading. This was, let's see, this rubric was worked on by a Spanish class and I a few years ago. I've just made some small edits, but these were the categories that they thought were appropriate to hold themselves accountable. So this is sort of student driven from previous years, which is kind of neat. Uh, So spelling, punctuation, and grammar. We have an English version guideline and Spanish version. So you may end up between these, somewhere in between these two, depending on you how you do on each, the English and the Spanish version. But to earn full credit, English version contains no grammatical errors, and the Spanish version can contain a few grammatical errors. Remember, we are learning Spanish, so there's always the chance that we're going to make an unknown error. And if you do something, especially if it's an unknown error of something that we haven't learned yet, I will likely overlook it. It won't be as big of a deal because if it's something I haven't taught, then I can't hold you accountable for it. Um, for 3, English version contains a few grammatical errors. Spanish version contains some grammatical errors. For a 2, you have some grammatical errors, and then the Spanish version contains many grammatical errors. And then if goodness, the Spanish version contains too many errors to be understood. For a 1, I don't think anybody is going to be here. What I've seen so far, no one has been here yet. So that is very nice. Images and neatness. So you have to have your 3 images. Font is legible. Text is written in a form of a conventional letter. I'll show you guys how to do that in class. And then if you don't know how to write a letter, just let me know and I'll show you the format. You can also look it up on the internet. You can see, like, you start off with dear whoever, comma, paragraphs, and then sincerely at the end. Um, for the word count, Spanish, this is only the Spanish version. Spanish 2, 50 words or more in Spanish. Spanish 3, 75 words or more. And then it decreases diminishingly as we go along. And then lastly, creativity. You can use whatever font you want and really whatever color you want as long as it's readable to be able to see the text. So don't use white font. Um, Images support the topics being discussed in the text. So if you talk about how you've seen a Bigfoot and you include an image of a cereal bowl, but you haven't discussed cereal at all, then that doesn't make any sense. So that's something you have to consider, is that your images should support what you're talking about in your text. Different themes that we have learned / have been taught in Spanish 1, how to say your name and asking what their name is as well, how you're feeling and doing. How are you? I am good. How are you? I am tired. I am stressed, etc. All those terms from earlier in the year. Your personality and physical descriptions, where you live, your family members, their names and their descriptions. What are they like? Your nationality. We talked about that earlier this year. Your likes, dislikes, and interests. Me gusta, right? And then questions you may have for the students in Chile. Remember that we start off a question with an upside down question mark. Um, if you're going to ask a question, I think this is a good thing to do. Just remember that we don't have the helper verb do or did. So if you're not sure how to write a question, just let me know and I will I will show you how to do that. And if you're in class, I'll be going over that for this notes section here. Um, so, okay, I think that's it. If you have any questions, you can email me at gmakoski@nwcs.org.